Hello and welcome to the Witch's Realm. I'm Andrea Franco, intuitive business mentor.
And I'm Amanda Root, mindset and manifestation mentor. We created this podcast as a safe space for women to connect and come out of the witch's closet and own their magic.
We discuss everything from business, pleasure, spell work, sex, wealth, and how to live a magically abundant as fuck life.
Yeah, get ready to tune in and get turned on. Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day.
Tine? What's a tine?
Well, it's Saint Valentine. He is who Valentine's Day. You want to read about him before we pull up something?
No.
Why?
I don't care about him. He's probably going to get mad at me and punch me now. Just kidding, I care about you.
Seriously.
Mm-mm. No bad juju, no bad juju.
No whammies.
All right.
Okay.
I'm like always the starter of the episodes. Do you want to do it?
Sure.
Take it away.
Okay. Welcome back to the Witch's Realm.
Hello.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Well, this is probably not going to air for another 2 weeks, but
1 week.
1 week, really?
1 week,
okay.
Yeah.
So happy the week after Valentine's Day, but we're currently in Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and this is our big love episode.
Oh my God.
Big love.
I love it.
Yeah. So in celebration of Valentine's Day, we decided
we're going to talk about big love.
Big love.
All of the things.
Yeah. It's a great topic. One of my faves.
Yeah.
Happy stuff. I feel like we've had some really heavy topics on the podcast, so
yeah, we're like, but I feel like this is deep but not heavy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, love is,
love is an
complex topic. So I guess starting off,
what would you define as big love?
Big love.
Define it.
Well,
bam.
Big love. It's like,
I always put you on the spot.
I think it's like that real deep love, I mean, you and I were talking about like it's Valentine's Day. What are we going to talk about this week? And big love is the definition, I think, of what everybody really wants.
Yeah.
Wholehearted love.
Yeah. Deep, pure.
Surrender.
Safe.
Yeah.
Comes to mind. For me, when I think of big love, I think of that love that scares the ever-living shit about you. But it's like coming home and being on the craziest ride of your life all at the same time.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like
at first.
Safety and adventure all in one.
Yeah.
It's like every day you wake up and feel like the luckiest human alive, and you want them to feel that way too.
Totally. That I will agree with. But I feel like the ride, like, for me, like, I've been married a long time, so it's more like longevity. Like, I've been on the ride for a long time, so for me, it's more like I just want to have like a fun ride.
Yeah.
A couple thrills.
Yeah.
A couple of backflips here and there, but like 1 or 2 drops is enough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that constantly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just kidding. I think why I was really called to like talk about big love too is a lot of people lately have been, a lot of things coming in my frequency has been like people who either choose to settle or are settling right now or no longer want to settle. And so that was definitely something I wanted to jam on along the topic of big love, is like why we choose to settle and like what comes up on why we don't reach for that big love.
Yeah. I work with a lot of women that are manifesting love in their life. And so when we're talking about like dating, a lot of times like that's what comes to mind for me, is like the experiences that, and I think that finding the people are, when they're single, obviously they're searching, they're on a mission, you know, and
why do you
we've talked about it before, like the current dating culture with like online dating and like,
I know,
swiping. It's crazy.
I know.
So finding someone true, it's like a diamond in the rough, a needle in a haystack. But we talked about this, like we talked about saying positive affirmations about like good men existing.
Yep, good men exist, and the man is out there
even
that I love
Bumble.
looking for me. Yeah, even on Bumble. Why do you think that women settle?
I think women and men
Why do you think people settle? Fine, sorry. I know we're not just women listeners here. So why do we think people settle?
I think circumstances. I keep wanting to like take a sip, and then you ask me another question.
You want me to answer it first? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. I'll do the answering first. A couple of things came up for me personally when I was thinking like why I have settled in the past. Like I'm going for big love now, but like I know in my human moments I've settled. So one of the first things that came up for me that I think can resonate for some listeners here is like the people around you are examples of settling. So I don't really want to go into like diming out some of my family, but a lot of the women in my family settle. And I've looked at my examples other than my grandparents. Everyone in my family has settled. Like pretty much everyone is with someone who is like.
Your grandparents are in a super.
I said other than my grandparents.
My
grandparents are like
they're like
the light of my life, and they have like they've been together for 55 years. Like I literally post them everywhere. If you know me, you know like my grandparents' love is like big love, and I've always aspired to have a love like that. But I think that like growing up, you know, my mom had settled, and like everybody around me in my family, it was always like we were never told to dream big in anything, but especially not love. And so I don't think that came natural to me.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like get love.
Yeah, and that's the definition. Like when you said like what's the definition of big love, like that's like what you and I talk about, like that is the goal. Like, that's the dream.
Yeah,
like real big love.
I don't think it felt safe to dream because
it was wrap like yourself up in.
It was like so outside of the scope of reality. If you asked me 10 years ago, what I want now is like big love, and now I know I can have it, hold it, manage it. But it took me a journey to get here, to break away from the ancestral stuff and like the limiting beliefs that had been placed on me. Like I think I said this on a past podcast, but like a month or two ago, you know, like I'm about to turn 30, whatever. And I was on the phone with my father, and he was like, why don't you just date a nerd? And I was like, what? And he was like giving me an example of someone in our family who like dates like this not that great looking guy. And, you know, like I want all of it, like handsome, tall, driven, successful, loving, loyal. I can keep going with my list, but like, I know that guy's not on every street corner, but I didn't ever plan on settling. And I've had some really great loves in my life, but I've never had the big love where I was like, I'm going to marry you. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. And this is the most certain thing I'm certain of. And I think people settle too. And I had a moment, the last relationship I was in, I went back and forth of not letting him go, because I think that me about to turn 30, I think age with women is a thing, by the way, right? Like we feel like we have a time clock, and so we want to have children and blah, blah, blah. And I think that I was like, oh my God, I'm about to turn 30. And like, what if that big love isn't coming for me? And so I think I went back and forth with staying with this man for a little longer, because sometimes, you said this to me before, and it was a line that just downloaded. Sometimes we fall in love with potential. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of people in this world, they look at their partner and they see what they could be and what they're maybe destined to be, but not who they are. Yeah. And I think the last partner that I was with, and even the partner before that, well,
that's how women date though. Like women date that way. Men date, they see you like pretty much they see women like
because they're
on
logical
paper, and they're like, this is like what she is. And women see a guy and they're like, oh well, if he just
and we want to change them.
Yeah, but it's funny, like when I was thinking about this topic today, and I feel like I have been really, really blessed in love. Like really, really lucky in love in my life. Like I have really not.
I feel my luck took a little bit of a turn.
I've never really had my heart broken. Like,
oh God, I have.
I really haven't.
I've worn it on my sleeve many times.
Like I had a boyfriend that
I've never been broken up with though.
He was like, well, he was just a cheater, but I didn't really care that much. So it wasn't
like, whatever.
Yeah. But it's interesting.
What age did you meet your husband?
I mean, well, so I didn't start dating him until I was 19.
Oh my God, so young!
But I met him when I was 15.
Okay, so like it was like a one and done.
I mean,
kind of.
No, I mean,
okay, but
yes
and
15
to 19 is like baby love.
Yeah, but I wasn't dating him until I was 19.
No, I'm just saying, like you met him and like that was okay. Yes. I get it.
So I met him.
So you didn't have real heartbreak because you were a baby.
No. No.
You were a baby. I had like real
Yeah.
heartbreak.
No.
But it's so
And
funny.
I was thinking about that today because like
we were talking about this topic and you're like,
Yes.
she just got her big love.
I
Like,
did.
so early in life.
And
it looked like I have a
incredible.
fucking journey.
Yeah. I'm like, what shit. And honestly, when I look back on it, like I never feared it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
did you ever fear getting hurt when you were dating him at first?
No.
Is it because you didn't fear getting hurt, or is it because you knew he was safe, or both?
I knew him. We had been friends, so like I met him. He moved onto the street that I lived on my whole life. He moved onto that street when I was 15.
Big move, big love. Mm-hmm. Just kidding.
Mm-hmm. And
you'll find out about that sometime, maybe.
I met him and we just were friends for years. So by the time, there was always chemistry there, but by the time we got together, I already trusted him so much. I already knew who he was, like, as a person, and I pretty much probably on some level had already like fallen in love with him. I don't know. We were super young, and I have had my heart broken in other ways, like, and that's the thing that I think I was thinking about too. Big love for me is like my kids, and losing. I've talked about it before, like I had a miscarriage before I had Cece. That was like definitely a big heartbreak, you know, for sure. But like in relationship wise, I mean, they were young love, like puppy love, like, you know, stupid shit.
I mean,
thank you, Saint Valentine.
I feel like hindsight 2020 here, because like, do I ever feel like I've felt love? Yeah. But like, do I think I ever had that big love? No, because I think that big love you don't give up on. That big love is forever. Mm-hmm. That big love is who you marry and spend your life with. And I think I've had love, and I've felt love for maybe like two. I would say I had two decently sized loves, and I've had some really great men in my life. But I've had my heart broken. But it's funny because I've never been broken up with. I've like broken my own heart because I realized that like that person was settling. Like my partner before this last one was a very successful partner that just did not want to give me that big love.
I put a love spell on Chris Root when I was like 20, and pretty much it's just a wrap.
I mean, we'll talk more about spells and shit.
Well, that's what I was just thinking as you were talking. I was thinking like my next question for you is,
I did not put a spell on anyone so far.
Do you think that
I did a spell to call in someone though? Do
you think you can manifest love?
Yeah, that's someone that I'm seeing tonight on Valentine's Day. We did a spell to call, and I have a long list. My list is long, and long, like really long. I let him know. I was like, "You're ticking my boxes." That's what I said to him. And I actually have it on the table. I found this book, that I like started again in December, and he like messaged me like 10 days later. But the thing is I did a spell to call that energy towards me. Well, you did one, we did one. There was so many different things that we did, and my self-concepts were huge too.
But it was about self-love too. It was about self-love,
and that. We read each other's minds.
I know, but that's really like what I feel like is the difference.
What shifted for me?
Yeah, and for a lot of people, like I feel like I met Chris so young that I hadn't been, honestly. My mom always says this, like I was born 40. Like I was never a child. So
I'm an old soul too, though.
I met Chris and like we just like went full speed ahead.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, I was too young to have like developed that fear where I was like the subconscious, like where I was scared.
Yeah.
And I think when you said like, why do people settle? I think people settle because like they have... Yeah, they're scared, like, well, or they get put in like a circumstance and they feel like they don't have an option. They don't have the power to choose. They feel stuck. Like stuck is something.
I feel like a lot of people who get married feel stuck because they fear divorce, or also people who have children don't want to like leave for this children's sake. I see that a lot too.
Do you want to know something funny? So
I'm like, please divorce so you don't make my life miserable. Like my parents, like they should have divorced a long time before they did, please.
The day that I was getting married, my dad and I were in the limo on our way to the church, It was just him and I, and we were just turning the corner at Stonebridge, literally. And I got married at Laurelton, so you know where that is.
You did?
Yep. So we're sitting right by Stonebridge, and my dad looks at me, and he goes, just so you know, I got to tell you something. I said, what? He goes, I love Chris, but if you aren't 100% sure on this, I will put you on a plane to Mexico right now and cancel this whole thing. And I was like, Dad, like, I'm so ready to do this. And he was like, okay, cool, like, let's do it. But I love that. It was just like such a cool moment. And I remember being like, that's big love.
Yeah.
Like, my dad was like,
whatever you want.
We just planned this whole wedding. Like, you know, we planned the sickest wedding ever. And I'll cancel the whole thing and tell everybody. Like, he just wanted me to know I wasn't stuck.
Yeah. You know what? I like that you just said that too, because here's the other thing. I know that I can give, and I want to say this on this podcast. People can only meet you in the level in which you meet yourself. And I know that I've met myself at such a depth that I give big love. And I love that because your dad gave you big love. So you know what it's like to be big loved. And so you want that from a partner.
Yeah.
Right. So I do 100%. Think childhood has a large portion to do with this, like how you're
my
loved.
Parents are big love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that my journey took longer, and I'm not saying like just because, but this is fucked up. But I didn't like witness big love, and I didn't always get big love. So I had to discover what it was like to truly love and choose myself first. And you've seen this shift in me.
So you can hold it.
So I needed to I went through a really massive tower, realized like why. I made a post about this. Like, why am I calling this in? Why am I calling in this behavior? Why am I calling in these patterns where I'm not getting the big love? It's like so close, but it's missing a couple boxes. And I feel like there was a level of self-love. And so this is what I think makes people settle too, which is coming through. A level of self-love that you must meet yourself before you can call in the big love, right? Because if you don't love yourself unconditionally and wholly, then you can't expect or have someone to do that to you back. And I think that there were moments that I settled because there were pieces of me that I didn't fully love. And the last guy I was with I definitely feel there was a lot of settling involved. He reflected a mirror back to me when he tore me down in areas like you need to cook more, or you're too successful, or you're manly, or whatever. He got to put a mirror in front of my face, and instead of cowering and laying on the ground and agreeing with him, I actually fell in love deeper with those parts of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not too successful, and I'm not manly.
Any guy that calls you manly like really needs to leave the room.
Like, I mean, he was just the most wounded man I've ever met in my life.
What a closed-minded thing to say.
He was a very wounded human, and I think that I just pray for him that, you know, I just think there were a lot of limiting beliefs that he had around his own. Like, again, you can only meet people in which you meet yourself. Yeah. And like, he was insecure about his money, about his life, about all these different things. So he was just mirroring them to me.
Yeah, projecting them.
And that's what people do. And so if you let projections not redirect you, like last episode, you know, like you can't let them tear you down. So I could have like believed him.
Yeah.
And like, you know, what girls do when they're in a form of emotional abuse, I'll say women, but it happens to men too, when someone says something to us and I think that it was a form of emotional abuse. He tried to tear me down. And I didn't realize this to the end, that I was being like emotionally kind of manipulated so he can position himself higher.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was totally going to say we need to talk about like, because we're all about the balance and the light and the dark and the yin and the yang. But like, there's also sometimes the dark side to love.
Yeah.
You know, it can be if it's a really deep pool, you can get lost. You know, it can be super complicated.
You could lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
A lot of people lose themselves. We were just talking about that too.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a couple of friends and people I knew in my life, even family.
Yeah.
There's
that
one of the women and
yes, fall in love.
You will only hear and see her if she's single, which is never. You know, and it makes me sad. It's like, wow. But and by the way, all these people are always settling. It's never, because big love doesn't want you not to be a part of family and friends. Right. A big supportive great love will not isolate you. Narcissists isolate you. They want you to go to the gym and see your grandma and see your best friends because big love is supportive.
Yeah.
And I realized in the last partnership I was in that like it was weird. And I don't know if I ever told the story, but it was like the first 5-6 months, this man was like what I thought had really big potential to be big love. And then all of a sudden switch the script. And I call that, I have a label for that. It's called the change up.
Yeah.
When the wolf in sheep's clothing comes through and the mask falls off because this person can no longer keep up this persona anymore. And the problem is that I see in this society, me and my grandmother were discussing this, is most women, by the time they get 6 months in and then mask falls, narcissists already have captured you and they've encapsulated you within their love grip. And so you don't leave. You're hooked. So good. You're hooked. And you're like, was it me? Can I get this back? And then so you spend the rest of the relationship trying to get back that high, which was just false bullshit in the first place. And so the second that Man's Colors came out, I broke up with him 1 week later. He sent me this long, crazy fucking whack job email. And I was like, I don't know who wrote this, but it wasn't the man that I was with for the past 6 months. And then I knew. I was like, I'm not giving this time. You're a fucking crazy. Goodbye. And that's who he
when
really
people
was.
first start dating, you're not seeing the real, true person right away. You're seeing glimpses.
I don't know, because I'm always real and true.
Yes, but people are on their best behavior. So,
just kidding.
You know.
I don't, but I feel like I'm so real that I'm just always who I am. But fine, most people that aren't unicorns like me are on their best behavior.
I mean, it just is. Like, you're in the honeymoon period. It's just like getting married. I don't care what you say. Like,
I know, yeah.
It's
true. You don't, like, go to the bathroom near your partner for, like, the first year.
So many
and
things.
then you're like, babe, I'm going to the bathroom.
Bitch, wait. Just wait.
I know.
Like, the
I know.
shit that, like, you can only go that deep. Like, you know, when people first get together in the first, like, year, even the first 5 years, like, holy shit. Honestly.
This is so good. This is my favorite episode, I think. We've just jammed on so many topics all in one.
So many things.
So good.
I knew the love episode was going to be amazing. I mean, for me, like, when I think about love right now, honestly, it's tough because, like, I think about loss.
Yeah.
When I think about love. Like, I have been really talk about self-love. Like, I've always been very confident, and you're right. I've always believed in my ability to, like, just find big love. Like, I
feel like you were taught how to love yourself really well, though. Your dad is a big lover.
And my mom, too.
Yeah.
Both of them.
But I do feel like you were pushed in the directions of, like, you can do anything. You deserve the world. And I don't feel like I was pushed in that direction. So I had to go through hell to find myself.
But they also love each other very big.
Yeah.
Even though, like, they've definitely had their share of challenges. Listen, in general, like, being in a monogamous relationship one-on-one for a long time is hard.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of compromise, a lot of communication, a lot of work.
Huge.
You know, all of those things. Passion. Like, I say all the time that the reason why my relationship works is because like we have sex constantly. Honestly,
I think
that's what
makes
it
I told
works.
my mother that, by the way. I was like, Amanda fucks her husband like every day, and she was like,
he's happy.
What? And I was like, yeah. And like, I was talking about you to my Valentine tonight, and I was like, I admire her so much. She runs 3 companies, you know, has big love, and is the best mother ever, and fucks her husband every day. I don't think I told him that. We weren't having that kind of conversation.
You don't want to set that standard.
No,
so
I mean,
early on.
I will set that standard because, I mean,
but it wasn't
my
always
Valentine.
like that.
I haven't done much sexually with him because I let men court me, and it's a bare minimum. Like, that's the other thing. Why women? We'll go back to the topic really quick. I have ADD. You know this about me. I think that women settle because they literally like are settle for fucking crumbs when you deserve the whole cake. Like, here's the thing, and I have some friends who do this shit where it's like, y'all don't make them wait for sex. You fuck them first night. It's too easy. Oh like, God. I let the man hunt me.
I'm really gonna go there.
Hunt me like the motherfucking lioness I am. Anyways,
I do agree with you. I think that there's a
precedent that you have to hold, that I'm the fucking queen.
I'm not judgmental. Like, if you want to fuck someone on the first night, like, have a ball. But I do think, like,
but that's not my.
It's gonna that like dudes aren't really into that. I think they want to chase.
Look, here's the thing. I've heard of love that works when people sleep together on the first night. I'm not
I
doubting
have
that.
too.
I'm not doubting that. Right. And to each their own. There is no judgment from me. I'm like
Totally.
one of the least judgmental person on that stuff. But
That was my judgment free zone disclaimer.
Yeah. I don't want anyone thinking
I agree
like I'm
with
wrong.
you.
But I think that the deeper I loved myself, the deeper I realized that my pussy is gold and my body is a temple. Yeah, I just so you don't fucking know someone on date one. Bullshit.
Right.
So did you earn the gold? No, you gotta go mining, motherfucker. That's a good one. I haven't said that, like, mic drop. And if you won't want to go mining, you don't get the gold. So too many people don't make men go mining, because I believe in courting, and that's man woman. And so they end up with coal, because they didn't make them go mining.
What do you mean you believe in courting? What does that mean?
Like, I feel like a man should earn you and your love. I feel like people go on a date and, like, when you know, but I still feel like someone should, like, men should be like, my Valentine has picked me up every single date. He has never looked twice at his card. He walks on the side of the road that the cars are. I watch. He doesn't know I'm watching everything he does.
You mean
he's got to tick all my boxes.
Traditional, like, gender roles, like.
I believe that. Yeah, I do. I believe in traditional courting. I feel like women don't, and I'm gonna go women man here really quick. Like, we don't call men to do enough, and so you're getting what you like, you didn't require that.
So I feel like,
and we can have differing opinions. I'm open to that.
I feel like it should be more of a, hear me out here. Okay. I feel like it should be more of a 50-50, but what each person needs to give and what each person needs to take is different based off of their gender, sign, personality.
I feel like in the beginning, like, I want to be just, like, fully courted. Like, this man has no idea that I usually open car doors when I'm let in, but I didn't show that card yet.
Yeah, but that's not what I mean. I mean, like, okay,
but I'm being really
you shouldn't
sweet.
Open a car door, but, like, there's a give and a take to everything.
I agree there,
and that's what balances it out. So, like, with someone giving you, what would you call that? Like, chivalry.
Yeah,
I would call that.
I just got
like,
turned
if
on by that
someone
word.
gives you their chivalry,
yeah,
you are reciprocating with
my energy,
right? Your presence and not your presence in, like, a my presence way, but being in the moment.
No, I agree. Like, I on Wednesday,
you give a little love.
I'll give an example. This is great. I'm glad you brought this up.
Give
this is
love
great.
to get love.
Listen, this is a great example of what you just said. So when I first went out with this man, I'm not touchy-feel at first. That's, like, really earned for me. I can be very cold with people at first, like, touch-wise. You know that. Like, it takes a while for me to touch.
Yeah, me too.
You were like that. We're very similar there. So anyways, this guy that I was going out with,
don't hug me.
He ended up, like, I got a double. I can't believe I'm sharing this. I got a double flat tire on the Porsche, and I was like, I had already had the worst day ever.
I was gonna come get you.
I know.
With my husband.
I know.
Because we were home having an afternoon delight.
Oh, I didn't know.
Legit.
That. I love that. But anyways, so I fucking text this guy who I don't know. I just found out, by the way, works 30 minutes away. And that man came to get me to bring me 1 minute home. And he did not eat lunch that day. And that day I gave him, like, a little hug outside. But then, like, 2 more times after that, usually it takes me months. And, like, 2 more times after that, like, I was, hugging and touching and, like, caressing. And I usually, like, don't do that. So
you're giving physical touch. And that's
I'm giving different things.
So exactly what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree. It can't be like man's doing all the things and you're so fucking bitchy that you're giving jack shit because your presence alone is God. No, I'm not that cocky.
Right. So, like, for example,
I sounded like I was from Jersey for a second.
I just feel like, it should be a give and take. Like, both people should get what they need out of the interaction. And that's how we cultivate love, I love this episode. I feel like we could jam on this like all night long.
I feel like we need to separate this topic because
Totally.
my fucking big mouth.
It goes all over the place.
I know. I felt like I wrote something else down that we wanted to say. Hold, please.
Well, one of the things that we were talking about, like manifesting love. So people ask me all the time. That's like frequently asked questions. Like, I want to call in new love, or like, I feel like I can't meet the right people. Like, what should I do?
Oh, I'm going to answer that. You want me to answer that?
Yeah, girl.
Well, I feel like I answered that before. Like, if you can't call in the right, this is what I did. I was like, why is this coming up for me? What pattern, what thing? And I realized that what had come up was I was calling like chaotic things in because I secretly loved chaos. And I didn't consciously love chaos, but I subconsciously did because of how I grew up. And so I flew to Tulum to do a deeper healing retreat. And I did some like anger release and like really big release. And so if things are holding you back and you're realizing that either something from your childhood or experiences has brought, like, you know, the problem with people is we like to blame others. So that's radical responsibility gets you big love.
Totally.
Because I think that we have people come into our lives, and when you start seeing a pattern, you're like, he, chi. And it's like, I looked in the mirror and said, okay, this is a pattern coming through. What can I do to shift myself?
Yep.
And so that's what I did. I said, this pattern is surfacing for me. And it's like, the last couple of men were like the almost big love with a little dose of chaos. And like, that wasn't marriage material for me, right?
Yeah.
They were like just missing a piece. You know, the last guy, I don't even think we should count. But the man before that, it was like just a piece.
Yeah.
You know, he was successful and driven, and he loved me, but I couldn't marry him because he didn't big love me. There was like that quality time was missing, right? And I was like, why am I calling in men that aren't giving me the quality time in the physical touch that I'm desiring, but are checking all the other boxes? And I realized it was a me thing. Like, there was a level of maybe like worthiness or chaos or whatever that I had to go through. So I would say, looking at the patterns, finding out where they stem from, healing that, and then the next thing I will just like, I've been working with the law of assumption and my self-concepts, and every single day I'm like, I am magnetic, I am a queen, and we're going to go into that. That needs to be a whole episode.
Well, yeah, I think that's like where this goes.
Yeah, to the next
I just
episode.
work on being
law of
like
assumption.
not
I
a
talk about
massive
that.
bitch, because like being in a relationship with me is no fucking small task.
I know.
I'm not even gonna lie.
I said,
like, I am
you need
a
two big
pain
hands
in the fucking
two massive
ass.
fucking hands to hold me.
Big pain in the ass. So I feel like, you know, it has taken years for Chris and I to like get to the point where we really know each other like super, super well, and like things we know not to like, we've been through enough that like small things just we don't fight over stupid shit.
It's a wave, not a rock in the boat.
It like doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter. Like, what matters at the end of the day, I don't know. I feel like love is the whole point that we're here.
I agree. And I feel like some people
they lose sight of that.
Yeah.
So what came to mind for me too, like when we were talking before about like people settling, and you were saying like, I think that there's people who they stay in a relationship even when they're unhappy.
I know.
Because there's a fear of the unknown, like change. Change is really, really,
my Virgo
really...
ass doesn't like change. Oh, that's so big for me. That lands. I think that's why I've held on to people sometimes a little longer.
People don't like change, and so they resist. You have to be, in order to change, you have to be at a certain level of discomfort. Yeah. And I think that's really what it's about.
But here's the thing. Sometimes we get comfortable in chaos and comfortable in settling and comfortable in whatever, that we don't feel
becomes
discomfort
the norm, and
because it becomes normal, and then we don't shift. So that's a good one. I realized with some of the partnerships I was in, I definitely held on. Even if it was a week longer, it doesn't matter. When you know it's over, you should like let it fucking go. And again, there's some things that you work on and you compromise. But I think when you truly know something is not your forever or your big love, it's like, why don't I leave it? And I think that's similar. Like once I
Your tenacity is your greatest gift. Listen,
I know.
Your
I
tenacity.
go all in.
You are
so I do not like when I have
when
I have to pull my cards back. I'm like, I went all in on you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I put my Queen of Hearts,
but the
my
thing
Queen
is,
of Pentacles on the table.
You have always said like, I'm gonna get big love.
I know.
So also in your like pursuit of it, you're like, I'm not gonna settle. You've always known. So
I will never
I think
settle.
that's part of it, is believing it and trusting, and like that's
another part too.
piece.
Some people actually don't say shit like that to themselves. They're like, just get caught in the chatter in their brain. When I always said, like, it didn't matter what I was doing, I was always like, I'm gonna have that big love. I'm gonna have that big love. I will never settle. I will never settle. I will find it. I will find it. And I was not giving up until I did.
Yeah.
And I won't give up until I do.
Yeah.
Because that big love is out there for everybody.
It is.
Whatever that big love means to you.
Yeah,
I have a lot of boxes.
I
don't think I'm a normal.
You talked
big
a lot
lover.
about man and woman, but like, it can be friendship. It can be parental. It can be,
I mean, it's
children.
All love.
All love. Love is love, people.
I know. I just feel like everybody's version of love is differently, because someone like me who's batshit crazy has about 50 boxes, and I'm like, I want it all. And maybe I'm crazy, but I'm not going to marry until I have it all.
For me, it was more like a feeling. I was too young to even like have
boxes
boxes
of course, if
like
it's a
that.
feeling.
I wasn't like,
but anybody can make you feel it. If he doesn't tick the good father box, fuck you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I could feel great about you, but if all you do is work and you only care about money, and I know you're not going to be like my not last but second to last relationship. We had a grand love, but when I looked at how will this man parent my children, I don't even know if he would have wanted to been at my bedside. He probably would have been happier making money.
Yeah.
It was like a real obsession. And I think that man taught me to find balance in my life, because I was going so hard in 2019 when we were dating that I looked at him and I envied him in so many ways. And he was such an expander for me. But at the same time, I was disgusted at the way he never made time for love.
Yeah. I just want to say,
because it matters.
Love attracts more love. So love is a vibration. Like, just like we had one of the episodes that was like money is a frequency.
Yes, I agree.
Love is a frequency, and it's a vibration.
So you have
that's
to love
at
yourself
its basic.
More and vibrate at the frequency of love to call it in.
You can love a stranger. Yes. Exactly.
I just had to
exactly
corroborate. Is that a word? Did I make that up?
Yeah, collaborate.
No,
corroborate.
I'm like a dictionary hoe.
You are, except with fake words. You're like an urban dictionary.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm a dictionary hoe because like I take two words and I combine them.
Yes, you were doing that before when you made up that other word. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, I like it though.
Yeah, I'm like we still maybe we should do an episode on Andrea's made up words.
I think that JJ could probably put together like a blooper reel of your made up words. There's been like so many. We just roll through them though. I know. Like I just don't even say anything anymore.
I just feel like I make them think that it's a word because I say it in such like cooperation with the rest of the sentence. Conviction.
Yeah, you believe it.
Diction.
I love
junction.
It.
Function.
Oh my God. What is that called?
What?
I don't know that. Conjunction.
Function.
Yeah.
It's a song.
It's a song, yeah.
There's a train involved?
Mm-hmm.
I just saw a train in my head. Isn't that funny? So little. We were young when that came out. Conjunction, function.
I think it was like before our time, honestly.
I know. I remember this when I'm a little girl and I can see it.
My mom knows it. Yeah.
Conjunction, function. Where's your
Schoolhouse Rock?
Oh my God, my uncle took us to the School of Rock. Different.
Similar
but different. Why do we do
We're on such a vibration tonight.
Oh my God. This is like a longer episode. It's because we love big love.
I could talk about love like all night.
I know. I love love. I love love. I've always loved love. I think that my version of big love has morphed and expanded as I've loved myself deeper and I've expanded. So I just wanted to say that too, is when I met you, my version of love, big love, was definitely so much different. So I think you can, again, like only desire love at the level in which you're at. So as you heal and as you ascend and as you do more and dream bigger, and I think as you dream bigger within yourself, I've like as I've grown as a human,
girl,
as I've grown financially.
Let's talk about just for one quick
Yeah, no, I'm
second.
here for whatever you want to talk about. What did I downloaded something in you as I was saying it. What are we saying?
When
No, you're gonna do it. I know. I just saw the vision in your head of what I wanted when I first
Yes.
came to you. I eat you.
yes,
I know. All right.
like the
No.
first time you came to see me for a reading,
Don't tell.
and you were like just describing like your perfect man, and I was like, no,
I wouldn't
no.
listen.
You're like, I'm gonna be a teacher, and I'm gonna
Wait, why did I do that?
because you were like totally conditioned
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
that you wanted 100K.
I was also like 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know,
But
you're
fine.
so
All right.
fucking
I was a
cute.
baby.
I
I
was
know.
like,
But
no,
say, go ahead.
bitch,
Finish your
no.
sentence.
No, I just think that you're right. Like your ideals at that time you've
from my
changed
family.
a lot. You have really opened your horizons to like but I always knew that you were not going to settle for that. Like even though you thought like no.
Oh, I was much bitchier then.
I remember telling you that you were going to like get married when you were 30 and you were so mad.
No, you told me 27 that I would meet the love of my life. So when I turned 27, I saw on the piece of paper, I was like, fuck. I was mad. I was mad because she's never wrong, and neither am I. We're very good at predicting. So I remember having my 27th birthday and not meeting him, where I was with someone that I actually thought I was going to marry.
Listen.
And then he ended up being like too driven. I don't know if that's a thing, but too obsessed with money and work. But yeah, no, I think that I was like, I looked at my paper and I was like, you said. But
you were just in such a rush. Always
I know.
in such a rush.
I did. I like, you know.
Just go back and listen to episode 12.
Why?
Or 13, the one that divine timing.
I know. Because as witches, we want to spell work our way through and out of and call faster.
I think love spells are like the most highly requested spell that I get.
Yeah. I mean, we're good at love spells.
Literally.
You're really good at love spells.
I love a love spell. I really do.
We need to talk about those. I feel like we should just sell a love spell.
Yeah, we should.
We should have did that for Valentine's Day. We fucked up.
Next year.
That's too long. Now you're pushing the patience thing again.
Okay. Whatever you want.
All right. No, we're just going to do it like next month.
Okay.
After I relocate.
Okay.
All right. Big love.
Big love.
All right.
Big love to you guys.
Yeah, we love you.
We do.
One of our followers posted in the Intuitive Boss Babe community a photo of our podcast, and like it was a
big love. It was amazing. And that's the thing, like love can come from so many different sources. So like if you're not feeling like you're getting that steady stream of love in your life, like we're here to love on you.
We're here to love
Come
you.
to the podcast.
And email the Witches
Realm podcast at
gmail.com.
Next week, let's bring some questions because we have some new ones.
We big love things. Should we talk about the law of assumption next week?
Sure.
Can I remember that? I'll try.
Write it down.
Fine.
JJ, can you remind us to talk about the law of assumption next week?
JJ loves us. All right. Goodbye, witches. We love you. See you soon. We gave you email in the group and all the things. My Virgo asked.
Follow us on Insta.
Yes. Big love. Bye.